It is well established and documented that America has, for the past several decades, seen a sharp rise in income inequality, the widening gap between the affluent who are getting richer and the poor who are getting poorer. A profound expression of this widening chasm is what sociologists now refer to as socioeconomic segregation, referring to how people are less and less likely to live or to work with others from a different economic class. Some even argue that the real fault lines that divide our increasingly polarized American society are not primarily political, ideological, racial, cultural, or even religious, but rather economic. The first of this Shabbat's two Torah portions, Behar-Bechukotai, speaks about our collective responsibility to help those who fall upon difficult times. It says, V'chi yamuch achicha v'hechazakta bo v'chai imach, that if your kinsman is in dire straits, you should hold them, and they will live by your side. The Hebrew phrase for hold them, hechazakta bo, derives from the root lechazek, literally meaning to strengthen or support. The Midrash plays on this etymology and explains that the verse is not speaking about our responsibility of charity towards the one who has already fallen into poverty. Instead, the verse is actually about our responsibility to strengthen or support those who are teetering on the edge, those at risk of slipping into poverty. In that way, as the verse concludes, the one who is struggling may continue to live imach, by your side. The one who is already poor is likely, sadly, already gone. Based on this verse, our sages explain that it's much easier to keep someone from falling into poverty than it would be to raise that same person out of poverty, a reality confirmed by modern economic research and policymaking. This may just be a question of resources. It costs more to help someone who needs more, but on a more profound level, the value of being imach, by your side. The one who is struggling still lives in your neighborhood. You see them at community functions. Their children and yours may attend the same school. Their struggles are therefore much more relatable. But the one who has slipped away into real poverty is too often out of sight and therefore also out of mind. Princeton professor Matthew Desmond, in his recent book, Poverty by America, writes about how it's so difficult for those in our society with resources and with influence to foster, to sustain the empathy necessary to even fully understand what needs to be done to combat poverty in America. This is the effect of socioeconomic segregation. It's why it is so important to foster that spirit of imach, of living side by side with those of different means. In America today, far too many people live on the precipice of poverty. According to one 2022 study, 47% of Americans feel they would struggle to handle an unforeseen expense of only $500. And following the end of pandemic-era aid programs, poverty is again on the rise. As the wealth gap continues to strain the American social fabric, our great challenge is to sustain that sense of imach, that understanding that we are all in this together. Shabbat Shalom.